like it's been a hot minute since I've been here on a Thursday.
Yeah, you've been really working part-time around here. Mm-hmm. Been doing a lot of...
That's what I do. Just don't show up.
Wandering. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the pre-show before the free show. I'm Greg. That's Ashley. Here on a balmy Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, it's not necessarily great outside. I woke up this morning and my windows were all foggy, and I was like, oh, I bet it's humid outside.
And it was.
And it was, in
fact. I dropped off Hank at school this morning for morning mile, as they call it.
Okay.
And he was like, Dad, it's hot. I'm like, yeah, man.
Yeah, it is.
Texas.
It's supposed to get up to like 83 today.
Yeah. Dang. Sunday. The Superb Owl is coming. The Super Bowl is coming. There are, of course, a lot of Texas ties in there. 2 Texas quarterbacks playing. Jalen Hurts from Channelview, Patrick Mahomes from White House, a number of other Texan ties on there. You can find more information on that on TexasFootball.com. Do you have big plans for the big game? Which, by the way, there's people who say, like, oh, you can't say, like, the big game, like the name of the... You can say Super Bowl. Like, you're allowed to. You're not going to get sued. They're not going to sue you.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah. If you ever... Well, I think there's a way... Like, there were people who were afraid. I think you can't, like, say, like, oh... this is the Super Bowl preview presented by X. Like, you can't use it for commercial reasons.
Okay, but you can address it as its name.
If you're reporting, like, people are having a Super Bowl party,
yeah,
like, you can say that.
we're gonna have some people over.
Nice.
The Super Bowl is something I don't really care about because the Cowboys are never in it. But
facts.
That being said, what I do care about is getting to make game day snacks. Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan and have a lot of good recipes for game day snacks. So this is a perfect reason to just do it. So
in the time BC, before children.
Okay. Yeah.
The Super Bowl party was our party.
Okay, that makes sense.
It was the Tepper party, and it was because I think this probably goes with any group of friends. You probably have friends that, like, they do a Christmas party.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like and we all have claimed parties.
Right. You have a friend who has a Halloween party.
Yes.
And maybe
New Year's Eve party.
New Year's Eve, yep. or 4th of July, something like that, right? And you can have multiple, but, like, there's people who, like, you call dibs.
Yes.
We had the Super Bowl party for a long time, and I maintain that should be your number 1 draft pick.
Yeah. The timing works out well.
It's multiple reasons. 1, you can make it a potluck. You can make it as limited cooking as you want, and, like, you're still okay, because I think there's a natural, like, community element to it, like, oh, I'm going to bring this and you're going to bring that. Like, there's natural to that. You can ask people to bring stuff. 2, there's a set end time.
Yep. Game's over. It's a Sunday night.
Sunday night. People got to go home. And 3, and I think this is the biggest part, you don't have to worry about entertaining people.
No, because, like, you don't have to have any sort of, like a Christmas party's fun, but you're probably doing a dinner, or you're going to play some Christmas games where you try to unwrap a present with mittens. You know, like, Halloween party, that's fairly easy, but people don't like to start Halloween during the day, so you're guaranteed a late night. New Year's Eve, late night.
This is an event that is like, all right, it's going to be over by 9:30. People can leave. And also, like, if you got kids and you got to leave at halftime, leave at halftime. Yeah. But, like, there's built-in entertainment, right? Because it's like, just watch the game or and even if you don't like the game, you can watch the commercials.
Yes.
And even if you don't like the commercials, you can watch the halftime show. Those types of things. So the Super Bowl party, if you have the means, that is the party worth grabbing.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
We've of course, now we have kids and we don't do that.
Do you want to know a fun little fact here?
Here where the fun fact is, Ashley Pickle.
Our very own Trevor Bullard will be in attendance at the Super Bowl this year.
He's going to the Super Bowl?
So Trevor this year was a season ticket holder for the Houston Texans. So he's down at our Houston branch of Texan Live. And so this was year 1 of him being a season ticket holder. Apparently, the Texans do a thing where if you were a season ticket holder, you get put in a raffle to win basically an all-inclusive trip to the Super Bowl. You get tickets, you get hotel, and then I think, like, food stipend type stuff. You get into a couple of, like, other like various Super Bowl adjacent events. Like I think he said he's going to like an NFL Legends luncheon thing or something. The only thing they're not going to pay for is your travel to get there. But from Houston to New Orleans is 5 hours. So it's like, so yeah, he got 2 tickets and a hotel room paid for, all of that stuff in his first year as a season ticket holder. Isn't that cool? So yeah, he's off on Friday, tomorrow, heading to New Orleans for the weekend on basically nothing but gas it takes to get there.
I do think, I don't know. I think it would be cool to go to the Super Bowl for the same reason it was cool to go to WrestleMania.
It's a spectacle.
The spectacle of it. And, like, I would like to see Kendrick Lamar perform. Like, you get a free Kendrick Lamar. Not free, obviously.
Yes.
But, like, he does. I mean, he didn't, you know.
Yeah. That was the thing. It's like, I don't know if I would, unless it was the Cowboys, I don't think I would spend the money to ever go to the Super Bowl. But if someone gave me free tickets, like, yeah, I'm going.
Yeah.
Even if I had to fly somewhere, it's like, yeah, I can say that I went once and I'm done.
Yeah.
But I thought that was pretty cool.
That is awesome.
So yeah, T-Pup on the road to New Orleans.
Okay. We will, maybe we'll get him on the show on Monday.
That would be fun.
And get a full Super Bowl on-site report.
Yeah.
Of what it was like to go to the Super Bowl.
I would love to know. I don't know if I know anybody personally outside of media members that have been, like, I don't think I know any of my, like, normal people friends that have ever been to the Super Bowl.
Like, as a fan.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Even if you're not rooting for a team.
Yes.
You know. Anyway. Okay. Anyway, happy superb owl weekend. Hit the theme, Expo. Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Louisville, Texas. It is Texas football today, a program that's ready for the final football game of the season.
Chung chung.
My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine and TexasFootball.com. Thank you for spending part of your day with us, whether you're watching us live at TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all the places, or you listen to us to the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I am sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. The Dutch of the Dorks, Miss 305s. A person who has been to the site of the Super Bowl recently.
Yeah, correct.
She's Ashley Pickle.
Yep. Nola. Hi, friends. I'm laughing because Brooke, our chief content officer, earlier asked if it was officially golf season. And you know it's officially golf season because we have people in the comments referring to you as Mr. Masters.
Hey, listen, guys.
Which is the worst.
Mr.
TJ
Masters
Hudson, I respect you,
you
but we have got to let that one go.
Let me ask you a question.
No. I don't know where this is going, but just no.
Should I get a green jacket?
Oh, my God, no.
What if I wear it for my Masters preview? Ooh, I just got an idea.
Do you remember the scene in Office Space when Michael Bolton takes the printer out with a baseball bat and just beats the crap out of it? That's what I would do to old girl if you did that.
If I came in
you
with
would
a green
see
jacket.
me in a lot right next to our office in the middle of a grass field annihilating old girl.
We need to make, honestly, we need to zhuzh up our my Masters preview this week.
We
this
don't.
Year. Like, we need to have like the soft music.
I'm gonna quit.
I can do the gymnast. Be like, hello, friends.
I've put up with your crap for 5 years.
Hello, friends.
This will be the thing that does me in.
Like, you don't realize how screwed you were when I nailed Hideki Matsuyama. You didn't even realize at the time.
I knew.
Like,
and I'm still mad.
You're still
Thank
paying
God
for it.
that Ludwig Aberg didn't actually win it last year.
But he came close.
He did come close. And he's from Texas Tech, so I was like pumped, a Texas kid. But
I don't think I've ever...
Well, not a Texas kid, but...
Like, since the Matsuyama hit, like, all my picks have not... I don't think I've had oh, man, he missed the cut.
No.
He withdrew.
No, you've hit in like the top 5 to 10 players, which makes my blood boil.
They call me Mr. Masters. Today is Thursday, February 6th, 2025. 294 days until Thanksgiving. Isn't tomorrow S'more's birthday?
Yes.
Did I make that up?
Yes.
Oh, happy birthday to Sam Moore.
Happy birthday, S'more.
He turns an obnoxiously young age tomorrow. And happy birthday today to Rick Astley. Rick
Okay.
Astley, I think, he turns 59 today. The singer of Never Gonna Give You Up.
Never gonna give you up.
It is episode 18. On today's show, folks.
33.
Thank you. On today's show, folks, big show. We got Math Tuesday.
Math Tuesday.
And I've got the dumbest project I've ever worked on to show you.
Can confirm.
You're not going to believe it. And that's saying something considering this program. This is the dumbest thing I've ever done, but I think y'all are going to love it. We'll get into that. And then back half of the show, Matt Stepp of the DFW Coaching Clinic caught up with Mike Pry, the head coach of the El Paso Coronado Thunderbirds. So we will hear from him coming up here in the back half of the program. Does that sound good to you?
Yep. Works for me.
Do we first walk through the door?
We sure do. It was BJWB, TJ Hudson, jersey number 69, and Ed McElroy. Good Lord, what a first for.
TJ, I did get your email. I owe you a reply. There's a secret message to one viewer. That's exactly it. Okay. Anyway, today is Thursday, of course. It is the Thursday before the Super Bowl, and no better way to get ready for the big game than with Math Tuesday.
Math Tuesday. Math Tuesday.
It's Math Tuesday here on Texas Football Today, when we dive into the numbers of Texas high school football and bring you some things that maybe you didn't know about. And boy, I promise you didn't know about this.
This is so many arrows.
Nobody ever thought about this. So we mentioned in the pre-show WrestleMania, right?
Oh.
I'll even mention like boxing.
Did I bring this up by our conversation this morning?
No.
Oh,
I've been
okay.
working on this for a couple weeks.
We just randomly talk about WrestleMania far too much in this office.
Yeah, exactly right. It was a fun time. And one of the things, like obviously when you play Texas high school football, the ultimate goal of every team is to win the state championship, right?
Yep.
One of the things that I think, because of the nature of Texas high school football and because teams inherently turn over because of age requirements, right, is that it makes dynasties really difficult to build. Like, the reason that we marvel at a team like Gordon for winning, back-to-back state championships and having the state's longest winning streak at 30 games in a row is because it's hard, right? It's hard to turn over and have a new team each and every year and do that. Like, if you are, let's just say like the Los Angeles Dodgers, okay? The Los Angeles Dodgers, they're a professional baseball team. They're the reigning World Series champs. They've got a lot of their players under contract, okay? They are ultimately, if they wanted to keep their team together for as long as they could contractually do it, they would just do it, right? Obviously, in Texas high school football, that doesn't work. And one of the things that I appreciate about sports, like boxing, sports entertainment like wrestling, is maybe even like mixed martial arts like UFC, is something we say a lot, right? Which is, to be the man,
You got to beat the man.
got to beat the man, right? But there's no like linear way of tracking who is the best team in Texas high school football. It's basically who wins the championship at the end of the year. So that's how I came up with the dumbest thing I've ever come up with. And I'm calling it the belt. Okay? So the idea is that when somebody knocks out, when somebody beats the world heavyweight champion, right? They become the world heavyweight champion, right?
Yeah.
And you get the belt, right? That's what happens in UFC, is that if you go in there and you fight your way up to be the number one contender and you get a shot to face the champ and you beat the champ, guess what?
Then you're the champ.
You're the champ.
Like,
you get the belt.
Undisputed.
We don't do that in football.
No.
We don't do that. I think because the season is so long and they're, and ultimately we have put a priority on the, there's less of an emphasis on a single game or single matchup as opposed to the entirety of the season, and especially in football when it gets to the playoffs. But I think there should be a belt. Plain and simple.
I'm here with that.
Simply, I think there should be 3 belts, and we'll get to that in a moment. And so what I've done is I have retroactively gone back to the year 2000. In the year 2000. And now you may remember that in the year 2000, the winners of what was the largest classification at the time, which was 5A Division I, the state champions that year were the Midland Lee Rebels, now known as Midland Legacy. Okay? So here's what we're going to do. As the 5A Division I state champs in 2000, because we have to pick a time to start, right? I can't go back to like 1920. We don't have records for that. We're going to start in 2000, in this century. I'm going to give Midland Lee a belt. Okay? They are the inaugural
belt holder.
Texas high school football world heavyweight champion.
Okay.
Okay? But here's the thing. The next team to beat Midland Lee, now Midland Legacy, takes the belt from them. And then the team that beats them gets the belt. What we're looking for is a linear Texas high school football champion. Now, I've got 3 different belts that I've put together, okay? We've got the World Heavyweight Championship. That is, any team is eligible. It ends up being the largest 2 classifications. There's a spoiler alert. But any team is eligible. We're going to have what's called a lightweight championship or a middleweight championship, which is for the 3 smallest 11-man classifications. So right now it'd be 4A, 3A, and 2A, right? If a 5A team beats a 4A team, they are not eligible to win the middleweight championship. We're setting up weight classes here. And then I also have a 6-man belt. Now today we're only talking, and we'll call that maybe the flyweight belt. We are only talking about the World Heavyweight Championship here, okay? So the largest classification. And I will tell you, through my research, since Midland Lee, now Midland Legacy, won the title in 2000, the final day of the 2000 football season, the title has changed hands 83 times.
Wow.
Okay? If you want to put up the graphic and see this chaos, here is where that belt has traveled. Okay? So the first time it changed hands was literally the next time Midland Legacy played. They did not defend the title a single time. They lost to Longview in week 0. Okay? So then Longview takes the belt. Okay? You can now track throughout the course of the years where the belt has traveled. And there have been some interesting side quests. One thing you will notice is that, for example, every team that ends, it is not necessarily guaranteed that you are going to be the state champion. Like that state champion will hold the belt at the end of the season.
Right. That would be that would be a linear path. You would know that every heavyweight thing is.
But I will tell you that every team that finishes in this particular path with the belt is a state champion. Okay, that's just happened to be that. When we get to the middleweights, it changes. There are a couple teams that did not win a state championship, but took the belt into the offseason. So you can see all of the transitions and all of the teams that beat them. And some of these teams you can see make a lot of sense, right? If you look at the team that the current belt holder is the North Crowley Panthers. They did that by virtue of beating DeSoto, who had beaten Duncanville, who had beaten North Shore, who had beaten Westlake, right? That's how it goes. There are some strange side paths. There's a couple of years where there's no changes at all. For example, the team that has held the belt the longest continuous tenure is South Lake Carroll. When they won the 2004 state championship, they took the belt from Smithson Valley. They held it for the entirety of the 2005 season, the entirety of the 2006 season. Now, here's where things get interesting. In week 2 of 2007, South Lake Carroll lost. But they lost to Miami Northwestern out of Florida. And we ain't giving the belt.
No.
That is a non-sanctioned match, is what we're going to say. So they held it. South Lake Carroll held the belt until the regional semifinal of the 2007 season when they lost to Abilene. Abilene took the belt from them, ending their 46-week reign as champion, as the linear champion. But what's interesting, so there were times where it went on a long way, and you'll see, but there are also times where it changed hands a ton. For example, if you go and check out in 2003, that's when Converse Judson, the defending state champ, it starts in week 1. They lose to Waco. Okay? In week 1, Waco beats Converse Judson. They take the belt. It then bounces around, I think, let's see, in 2003 alone, it changes hands 10 times. Okay? Changes hands 10 times. Waco to Tyler Lee. Tyler Lee to Lufkin. Lufkin back to Tyler Lee. Tyler Lee to Longview. Longview to Lufkin. Lufkin to Garland. Garland to Allen. Allen to South Lake Carroll. South Lake Carroll to Katy. So there are times where it just goes nuts. And especially if the belt ends up in what ends up being a pretty chaotic district, it will bounce around the district a lot. It happened, for example, most recently in 2017. Rockwall took the belt from Highland Park. That's the only 5A team, team at the not the highest classification to finish the year with the belt. It's Highland Park in 2017, or 2016 rather. Rockwall beat them in week 1, but then they get into district play, and it bounces between like Rowlett, Plano, McKinney, Denton Guyer, and Allen. Allen ends up winning the state championship in 2017, so they hang on to the belt. So you can see the path here. And all of these teams have beaten the team that preceded them. Mm-hmm. So right now, North Crowley has held the belt since week 2 when they beat DeSoto. DeSoto held it since they beat Duncanville. And so here's what we're going to do. I'm working currently on the middleweight belt, and I'm working on the 6-man belt, right? We're going to track it. And for example, if and when North Crowley loses in 2025, whoever beats them, going to get the belt.
They get the belt.
And I think we should make real belts.
I am all in on that.
I think this is a way of kind of honoring the history of Texas high school football and saying, hey, look, you are the linear Texas high school football champion right now because you have beaten the team that's beaten the team that's beaten the team that's beaten the team. So we're going to get this up on the website. You can see all of the different iterations, all 83, I think it's 84 changes, title changes that we've had in Texas high school football since the year 2000. Some strange teams on there. For example, Irving Nimitz had the belt for a hot minute. Shout out to Houston Memorial, who's had the belt twice.
Yeah.
Strangely. Pflugerville had the belt for a hot minute. And then, by the way, I will also tell you that when you get into the what we're calling the middleweight, where you limit it to only the 3 smallest classifications, you get some teams you haven't thought about in a minute. Some teams you have not thought about in a minute, like, oh, wow, they had it. Now, spoiler alert, Carthage has it a lot.
That seems accurate.
Bounces around East Texas a fair amount. But we will dive into that another time. This is my introduction to the dumbest project I've ever worked on, the belt.
You're a sicko.
Okay? Looking at the linear Texas high school football state champion. Right now, the world heavyweight champion of Texas high school football is the North Crowley Panthers. They have the linear belt. Who will beat North Crowley? Whoever does, they're taking home some hardware. So there you have it, the belt. And that is Math Tuesday.
Math Tuesday.
We're at Texas Football Today. We're here Mondays and Thursdays on TexasFootball.com. Talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at TCTF. Like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Hey, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe to become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. Get the 2024 Dave Campbell's Texas Football Rising magazine mailed to you before it hits, or actually it's already on newsstands. Actually, no, it's not on newsstands. It's a subscriber exclusive. Mm-hmm. You have to subscribe to get it. You can also get the 2025 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, which we're already working on, mailed to you before it hits newsstands. Go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe. And a year of Dave Campbell's Texan Live, our streaming platform. Hundreds and hundreds, literally like thousands of live Texas high school events across the state of Texas all year long.
Tons of good basketball happening right now.
Make sure for the your significant other would love it if you got him or her a subscription to Dave Campbell's Texas Football for Valentine's Day.
Hard agree.
Just think about that. Coming up here in just a moment, Matt Stepp caught up with El Paso Coronado head coach Mike Pride to talk about those Thunderbirds. But first, a word from these valued partners.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
30-yard line, the 20, the 10.
Hey DFW residents, Get your grocery essentials in minutes, not hours or days, with Wing Drone Delivery. Forget about last-minute trips to the store when you need things like cereal for breakfast before school, medicine for a cold, or snacks for a movie night. Wing's drones get you quick, no-contact delivery in as fast as 15 minutes. Say goodbye to last-minute grocery runs and say hello to more of your valuable time. Sign up today.
Matt Stepp, Dave Campbell's Texas Football here at the DFW Coaches Clinic, and I'm talking to a guy who drove a little bit of a ways out from El Paso, Texas, Coach Mike Prod, the El Paso Coronado Thunderbirds. Coach, appreciate your time and chatting with us.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, first off, Coach, like I mentioned, a little bit of a road trip for you and your coaching staff to come out here. El Paso is not close.
No.
Love El Paso, but it's not close to Dallas. Why the DFW Clinic, and why is it such a good clinic?
You know, this is a great clinic because there's so many speakers, there's so many range of things you can learn. And it was really good for us as a staff because we stopped halfway in Odessa, Permian, and met with those guys and clinic with them on Thursday. Came in early Friday morning and met with the guys at South Lake, and they were really hospitality to us and then took care of us. So, it's good for us to get out and see different schools and see how they do things as well.
And take a few nuggets back to El Paso with you and just kind of put some extra tools in the toolbox, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Now, when you're at clinics, I believe you're an offensive guy by trade. So I always like to ask guys this: when you're an offensive guy, do you like to listen to other offensive guys talk? Do you want to hear defensive guys talk and kind of hear how they're kind of trying to attack the offense?
You know, I think it's a little of both. You pick kind of what you do and listen to those guys, and you kind of get some defensive aspects as well, so you know what's going on their side. So it's a little of both. And for me personally, it's more administrative stuff. I like to come talk to other head coaches about how they practice schedules and things of that nature. So a little of both.
And then your coordinators, now when you were a coordinator, did you want to hear the other side of the ball speak, or were you more interested in
a little of both? A little of both, yeah.
Okay.
You kind of want to see what what the defense is coming up with and how they're attacking certain things, but then you also want to get some more ideas for offense as well.
So I'll always put a few extra things in the playbook, right?
That's right.
Now for you guys, I think you're at your alma mater. You guys have done a good job, kind of getting the arrow pointed in the right direction.
Sure.
In the last couple of years, you guys have been just right on the brink of getting into the playoffs. Close losses here and there in a couple of different seasons kept you guys out of the playoffs. And we were talking, you guys are kind of pushing that rock up the mountain, but now you got to get it over the top of the mountain. Right. What do you think the difference is going to be in 2025 to try to get your kids to make that next step?
I think it's some of the returning kids we have coming back that are very hungry for success. Our off season is going well so far. They're up in the morning early. They're working hard, holding each other accountable. And I think it's just a couple of small things that we need to tweak to really get to where we want to be.
Those margins, especially when you're a good team, you're playing other good teams. Those margins are so small, right? Like one play can make a difference. So is it one of those things where you talk to your guys about, hey, one extra rep, let's not slow down on that last sprint. Let's that last rep in the weight room. We got to finish strong and kind of make that kind of get that mentality, right?
Yeah, for sure. Last year our off-season motto was 1 point. And this year, you're right. We just kind of got to get the rock over the hill and have a little bit of taste of success, and we'll be there.
And then looking at your ball club in 2025, tell us kind of every year you always lose a good group of seniors, and you got to replace those guys. There's very few teams that have 11 and 11 back, so you always got to replace some positions. What are the positions that you're looking for some young guys to grow up this offseason and step up in? And maybe what are some areas where you feel good? You got some experience coming back and you're feeling good about those areas.
So I'll start with where we feel good. We've got some skill kids. Ben Wilson's returning, and he's probably going to go back to more of a skill position, which will allow Wes Stansbury to take over the reins at quarterback. We've got some good skill players. CJ Frescas is back, one of our dynamic slots. Again, Ben Wilson will be back at receiver. And we've got some kids that can really play on the skill side. We had some really young kids. We actually had 3 freshmen that played varsity this year. So those kids will all be back. So I think our skill kids will be pretty good. We have to replace some good linebackers, which we're right now trying to figure out some scheme-wise what we can do to lessen that blow. But, I think our skill kids are going to be pretty good. We might actually turn this year into a 7-on-7 year where it's, kind of like Friendship was last year, catch the ball and get it out. So I think we've got the kids for that, and so I'm excited for that.
And then obviously you'll never complain if you have too many offensive and defensive linemen. Is that where you maybe have a little bit more youth, or where you're looking for some young guys to grow up a little bit?
So defensive line will return all 3.
Okay, that's good news.
Yeah, we're in an odd front, so we return all 3. We lose the linebackers, but we have a lot of the secondary back, so it's kind of the
middle part.
We've got to fill that in. Offensive line is going to be a little bit of a rebuild year. We've got some kids that are going to be fighting for that spot, but we do lose quite a bit of our offensive line. We've got Jaden Dorman coming back, which at center is a good guy to have. but it's going to be weird up front.
So it's got looking for some young guys to grow up a little bit and get in that weight room, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Now, final question for you. Overall, tell us, what, in your opinion, being an El Paso guy, what's the state of football in the 9-1-5 right now? I know it's always very competitive, especially in the 6A district, but I think also in that 5A D2 district, it's very competitive football there with Canutillo and Del Valle and those guys. Overall, just kind of your I know the playoffs didn't kind of go as well as everybody would hope out there, but that kind of fluctuates a little bit. So, for your perspective, where do you see the state of football in the Sun City?
You're right. We took one on the chin in the playoffs, but it's a year to bounce back. And last year in 6A was a lot of young teams, so a lot of the kids will be returning back. So I look forward to the 6A being relevant in the playoffs again. And of course, over at Del Valle with Jake Fetty coming back, I mean, you can't count those kids out. And Coach Brooks always does a phenomenal job at Canutillo. Chapin's going to have some kids coming back. Eldorado's having some kids coming back. So it's going to be a very interesting year, and a lot of kids coming back that can make some plays.
So we're going to have some senior heavy ball clubs in the Sun City. So looking forward to always competitive football out there. That's Mike Pry with the El Paso Coronado Thunderbirds. Coach, appreciate your time, and good luck at 2025.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Pry, head coach of the El Paso Coronado Thunderbirds, caught up with Matt Stepp at the DFW Coaches Clinic. We appreciate him making the trip exclusively for us, I presume.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Who wouldn't want to talk to Matt and stuff?
Yeah, who wouldn't want to drive the entirety of the state, travel the entirety of the state to come talk with Matt Stepp? Anyway, we appreciate it. Yeah, okay. You're a hater, though. Let's go over to Ashley Pickle, America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts.
The one that we got here is curious to hear Greg's take on Coach Reinhardt, the hire at Hutto.
Yeah, so this was Stepp and I talked about this on Tep and Step, our premium high school football podcast. And he had kind of alluded to the idea. We both agreed that he was our offensive coordinator of the year. He was our coordinator of the year. Not just offensive coordinator, but our coordinator of the year across the state of Texas. And Stepp had kind of alluded to it. And he had said it would not be a surprise if he looks to be a head coach. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, they went out there and and Hutto makes a splashy hire and brings in Eli Reinhardt. He's frustratingly, obnoxiously young. But I don't hold that against him.
You're not bitter.
No, I'm not bitter at all. I mean, this is I mentioned on Twitter, this is a grand slam home run hire. Like this, there's no way to look at this and be like, oh man, like what's wrong? Like, how could you go and do that? Yeah, Eli Reinhardt, that's a great fit. We know that Hutto historically has liked to air it out. We know that they have liked to, have big explosive offenses. This fits perfectly with what the community has come to expect. Mm-hmm. His stock as an offensive coordinator is never going to be higher than it is right now. He just led North Crowley to that is an offense at North Crowley that we are going to be talking about in hushed tones for a long time. His stock has never been higher. It'll never be higher, quite frankly. So yeah, I think that this is a win-win-win all around. For North Crowley, it stinks, but I would imagine that if you asked Ray Gates honestly, maybe like January 1, or maybe even like during the season, if you've been like, hey, you think you're going to have Coach Reinhardt next year? I bet he would say like,
probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the guy. Gates has been his biggest proponent. Has been his biggest cheerleader and been like, this guy is the next big thing. Like, this guy is him. And so I'm sure he's not surprised. Big shoes to fill for whoever starts calling the plays there, because Coach Reinhardt was drawing him up better than anybody last year. But that's a huge, huge win there for Hutto. And really excited to see what he's able to do, especially with that offense. He is also, just in my experience with him, he is a guy who I think that his defensive coordinator hire is going to be really critical, because I think he is an offensive wizard. He's an offensive mastermind, and he is going to spend, I think, a lot of his time. I think he's going to hire a defensive coordinator that can be a little bit set it and forget it, like a trusted guy that's like, all right, that's your unit, you go do your thing, right? And so I'm very interested to see who he hires as his defensive coordinator, because I think that's going to be a critical role for Hutto moving forward. But no, there's no notes on Eli Reinhardt to Hutto. That is a spectacular hire there for the Hippos, and they should be really fired up that a really exciting, really dynamic brand of football is coming to Central Texas. They are going to be Fun to watch. That is for darn sure.
Yeah, it was a great hire.
Yeah, really, really fun. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks again to Mike Pry, head coach of the El Paso Coronado Thunderbirds, for being our guest. Wait, real quick. Who you got Sunday? The line right now.
Oh, God. I don't know. I don't even care. I'm going with the Chiefs. No way in heck will you ever catch me saying anything nice about the Eagles.
Yeah, well, it's Chiefs -1, so it's basically like a money line. So
yeah, no, go Chiefs. Like, I don't want either of them to win it, to be completely honest with you. I wish it would have been Bills and Commanders, but I will never, ever, ever be caught ever saying anything nice about the Eagles.
Who do you think's going to win? Like who? Like remove emotion from it. Who's going to win?
I can't remove emotion from the Eagles.
Okay.
It is literally impossible.
I think the Chiefs are going to win.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this, though. Like, and I mentioned this on Twitter, and I know this is not a popular opinion around here. I really enjoy watching the Eagles play. Like, I love their style of offense. I love Saquon Barkley. I love watching their offensive line operate. I think their receiver core is way underrated.
I don't like any of this. Can we end the show?
I'm just saying, I think everybody's picking the Chiefs, and they should. They're the 2-time defending champs. They have the best player in the world. I think the Eagles going to win. There you go. I think the Eagles going to win the Super Bowl.
You're disgusting.
There you go. That's going to do it for us.
I hope you eat your words.
I'm probably going to be wrong.
I hope so.
Probably going to be wrong.
I'm actively rooting for you to be wrong in this situation.
But if I'm right, they'll call me Mr. Super Bowl.
Oh,
Vince Young, please move your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you Monday on Texas Football Today. Crudo Monday.